Welcome to the NerdLore podcast, where we talk stories, theories, and lore. I'm one of your three hosts, Shiny Shoes.
And I'm Crashstarling.
And I'm Skandle.
And tonight we're gonna kind of dive into politics and its movement into other aspects of the world that necessarily aren't familiar with politics. That's the best way to do it. Skandle is gonna drive this one home for us.
Okay, so I don't want to talk about sides. I don't want to talk about which way you lean. It's personally, I lean back.
Comfort first.
It's a terrible joke. I apologize in advance. Okay, I'm trying to be able to break into this without getting too angry about it. As you all know, I tend to, as Crashstarling knows for a fact, it doesn't take much for me to be here and skyrocket up here, but it takes a very, very, very long time for me to come down. So when I saw this happen, I was immediately irritated, pissed off really about it. And here's why. I don't care that it's AOC. Personally, not a fan, but whatever. I don't want to get into a political thing. But she went on Twitch and streamed Among Us, right? Am I right there?
Yes.
Yep. So she goes on to Twitch and streams her gameplay of Among Us. Now, is there anything wrong with that? Absolutely not. I don't care if you're a politician, if you're a construction worker, if you're an IT. It doesn't matter to me. If that's your escape, you want to stream on Twitch, cool, whatever, right? But for me personally, and this is just my personal opinion, and I could be wrong as far as how you all see it, video gaming, streaming, the relationship you have with your favorite streamer that you watch, the relationship you have as a streamer with your viewers, that's an escape from this shithole we call Earth. Right now, I've never been more saddened by the state of this country than I am right now. It's divided. Our 16th president straight up said that a house divided amongst itself cannot stand. And effectively, this country has been divided. I mean, you're either one way or the other, and it sucks for people like us who are in the middle because we get called a lot of names because we don't side with one side or the other. But back to the subject at hand. Gaming is an escape from this reality, right? Whenever you get to go gaming, you can ignore everything that's going on around you. You can ignore family problems. You can ignore, work problems. Getting into that call with your boys or your girls, whatever, and escaping that reality is what I think is so addictive about video gaming itself. I streamed for a long time. I stopped streaming. Some games got really bored because that social interaction wasn't there. I like having that. It's an escape. So when you bring something that is so divisive, when you bring something that is a drag on the day-to-day livelihood, such as politics, into a place where you're trying to escape it from, I get that you want to try to promote voting between young people and the younger generation who are big into video gaming. But to me, that's the biggest invasion that you could ever go to, because that is my place to escape. And for you to bring this nonsense into a place where I don't want it to be at, where I just want to relax and have a good time and not have to worry about people hating each other and all that, it's invasive to me, and I absolutely hate it. I abhor it. I think it's the worst thing to happen to video gaming since TheRealSkandle started streaming is this them trying to lean into this sacred place, if you will. That's my opinion on it.
Get that. So I have a couple things, a couple questions. So I watched the stream and kind of chucked through a lot of it. There were a lot of people in there.
This was a third highest ever.
I heard second.
It might even, because she hit 440 at one point. Which that alone is a monumentous feat on Twitch, that you had so many people. You were probably like the second most viewed stream of all time.
All time.
Yeah, looking at the numbers for that
first one, it was Someone's
Drake
Return.
and Ninja playing.
No, that was number 2.
Yeah, I think it was Shroud's. Was it Shroud's Return? Yeah.
Yeah, Shroud's Return was number 1
because he had like 500,000, right?
No, he had 600 and something thousand,
okay.
and then the Drake one had a little bit less than that.
And you think about that. So you look at the numbers and you think about like peak viewership and everything like that. To have 400,000 people watching, they estimated that somewhere around 5 million people had to have at least tuned into the stream. Let's think about how long the average view time is for a person, 10, 15 minutes.
How many do you think were bots to get the numbers rolling to begin with?
And you never know, because people will bot the streams. I will tell you, so my biggest things, like my key takeaways from the whole experience, I thought when I originally tuned in that it was going to be I'm going to slam politics down your throat. That's what I expected when I tuned in. What I got was a lot different. It was really, it didn't feel weird. It was different for me to see a politician in a realm, not as a politician, but just enjoying something as a person. That was weird to me. So I talk on that. The chat, that was a toxic, horrible environment.
And that's what you bring, man. That's what you bring to this world.
As you said, because it's so divisive, everything right now. And I mean, just the arguing between both sides, because you aren't going to get just those that lean left and agree with those policies. Right. You will get the other side as well. And you're also going to have, as you see, people that are going to sit in the middle. And we don't realize, but there are a lot of people that sit in that middle ground. Hey, I'm not going to vote because someone's red or someone's blue. I'm going to vote because whoever I choose has the policies that best reflect my views at the time, and your views are going to change. But for me, I minimized the chat after a while because I was like, this is horrid.
And that's our country right now.
Yeah.
And to bring that into this place is what frustrates me the most. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. And I get what you're saying. And I guess the third point that I put into it, I think, so this is just my look into it. And maybe it's just because I'm getting old and I'm no longer with that younger generation, but I feel like there is a great call to arms for a younger generation to vote, and a younger generation a lot of times does lean left, but I feel like there are finally a lot of people younger than me, or maybe even in my bracket, that didn't used to care about politics, but now are really into it because they realize, hey, the decision this person makes for these next four years are going to shape my future for decades to come. And Twitch really getting into that policy, because I mean, Trump has his rallies were streamed on Twitch, but nobody watched it. I mean, I say nobody. I would love to have 17,000 people watch me. Like, let's go. But
come on, it's conservatives that are, they don't even know what Twitch is.
And I guess they have the numbers for like Biden. Biden had like 6,000 people watch him, and Bernie had people watch him. So it isn't just that this had before. And I mean, they're full on political shows. There are people like I've seen streamers that have gone 100% into, they only stream the protests now, and they are seeing an insane spike in viewership. Insane. It has seeped in, and it's hard to tell because what benefit does that have for us now? Like, moving all of this in there, it puts more eyes on Twitch, which is going to be good for any of us that stream. But where do we get to a point where we realize that community that fostered there, there's 440,000 people, just spent 3 hours arguing with you. That
And not in a fun way.
Yeah, not in a fun way. Like
nothing was really accomplished with all these people.
No, it's literally
just typing out random things.
Yeah, it's walls of, hey, Trump 2020, or MAGA, and other, of course, whatever the other side, their silly slogans like vote him out and all the other goofy stuff they say. So, but it was just walls of that. And I honestly, I don't know who the moderators were for that channel. I'm not 100% sure, or if they had any. But that had to be a nightmare. Could you imagine never modding before and you're trying to stop 400,000 people from calling each other names?
Watch they didn't. I think what's interesting most about this is that at a baseline you can see exactly what was being planned here. They didn't pick they didn't pick small streamers.
No.
They didn't pick other political figures to jump on. They grabbed the top people they could get.
Yeah.
And were like, play Among Us with us. And the top people probably I bet I could get a spike in viewership if I'm playing, because I don't know. What the worst thing about this to me, the very baseline is that it's have you ever heard of the subreddit Fellow Kids?
Oh, hello, fellow kids.
Yeah. Hello, fellow kids, with the skateboard. And
yeah.
Literally, this entire event, the entire circumstance screams, hello, fellow kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I don't think is a bad thing, but I think, if they really wanted it to be go out and vote for whoever you want, they would have encouraged maybe what would have been really interesting is to get someone who's very Democratic and someone who's very Republican and had them play Among Us and just talk and see what happens. Because either someone's career is getting ruined, and I would watch that. But I feel like that could have been so much better. What do you guys think?
No, yeah, and I get that 100%. Man, it's hard to see because, again, if you'd put two combating political forces into a thing together, once and that was a nightmare. Once the cheap jabs kind of start, it snowballs and just gets out of hand faster.
Hey, look, I saw how you fucked up he fucked up that wiring, almost like he fucked up the plan back in 2014.
Yes! Oh my god, I would watch that all day.
I'm like,
oh, looks like you got railroaded, almost like that bill you tried to pass.
Where they're just going at each other all the time. And
I don't know, man. It bothers me, and I get it, right? You're trying to hit the masses, and maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm thinking of it as an old man on the outside looking in, but I just feel like the gaming community is sacred. It's a place for memes, and it's a place for making fun of each other, and in a lighthearted and good way. There are some things that I say to some of my friends whenever I'm gaming that I would never say to anybody in person.
Oh yeah.
Which I think is a big deal, and it's not what you think it is. It's more I know that person well enough that I can say the things that I actually feel about how stupid he is or how many times I banged his mom.
Yeah.
That I wouldn't say in public. But the thing that bothers me the most is something Mike Tyson said, and I'm going to butcher this quote because I can't remember exactly what it is verbatim, but he says, the internet has made it really easy for people to get comfortable saying things on their mind without the fear of getting punched in the face. And a lot of these people who argue and do things by
trolling.
Trolling. They've never been punched in the face for the shit they say, right? And that's why they say it.
You've got complete anonymity behind the keyboard. I mean,
but yeah, man, that's my opinion on it, and it's not something that I think many people, maybe I'm alone in the way that I feel about that invasion of this sacred
I mean, I get it. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I mean, I feel what you're saying. What really drew me into that stream and what was going on there is the entire thought process of how important social media is and the way that it is influencing and impacting our election in such a big way. I mean, we have a lot of individuals. If you are a politician, you are now on social media. I mean, there's no other way to be successful now. The really successful ones have built that social media presence. So, like, the only reason I know who AOC is because she is very vocal on social media. I mean, could you name like 7 other people in either the House or Senate
that do their own? And I know this is the thing. I don't even necessarily know that AOC does her own either. And I don't even know if Trump does his own. I mean, it sounds like some stupid things he would say.
I think he does his own.
Yeah, but like,
Dude, no one should add that. No, I'm not saying anything. He has to. I'm just saying that.
I think he may do. I don't know. I'm
but my point is I don't necessarily think most of these. I know athletes don't always. 99.9% of the time, it's a PR rep, right? That does everything for them. The political people are no different, and it is what it is. I don't necessarily think that they all. But she is very vocal on.
Yeah, and that's the only reason why I think she's found that success on the social media is because you can. There's more.
Anything she says is out there. Like,
there's more interaction between her and, like you said. I mean, and it's immediate. And same thing with Trump and everything. I mean, his presence on social media is massive, even if sometimes it shouldn't be. He is consistently putting things out there, and people want that. People want that interaction because they feel like they're there. And I mean, we've come to the point where, I mean, we built 2 cults basically, red cult, blue cult, and your guy's got to win or else. And the problem is there's a lot into it, but I think that we need to really look at because Twitch is social media now. That's what it is. Your most popular influencers are everywhere. I mean, I'm getting ads for Ninja Adidas, and the ads don't make any sense whatsoever because the person doing the ads, I don't know if they even know what a youth is, but they are using Ninja. They're using Ninja's brand and his image in these actual ads. So it has become popular, and it is only going to become more so because guess what? Those 8-year-olds or 9-year-olds or 6-year-olds that love Ninja and watch Twitch every day, in 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, they will have buying power in our country.
Yes. And listen, I hate to say that I'm at that age, and maybe it's because I'm old, but I never really thought voting was important. I didn't. I've never done it. This will be the first year I ever do it.
When I was in school, I always thought it was a waste of vote. I'm wasting my time.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Yeah, and you don't understand as a younger person, right? But like the importance, and maybe it's just this one, right? Because I didn't think it was super important between Trump and Hillary. But this one just seems that important, and that should, like, I wish I would have taken it more seriously sooner. Like, it's important, and you should vote, and you need to vote. It's a very easy process, and it matters. Yeah, and whether that means you vote Republican, whether that means you vote Democrat, or whether that means you vote third party. And let me just piggyback on the third party thing, man. It's not a wasted vote if you vote for a third party. Do they have a chance? Probably not the first couple times you vote for them, but that's because people all have this mentality that it's a wasted vote. But if you start seeing those numbers increase over the elections or over time, I mean, that's huge. That takes away from these 2 cults, like, that are one way or the other, and you hate the other one, and things can't get passed to better America because so and so wrote something and this group can't ever agree with them. And if you the only way we can change that is to be unified and say enough is enough, we're fucking done, and we need to do what's right for this country. And as long as we're divided, the government never has to fear that. So you need to, whether you believe it one way or another, the one thing we all can agree on is that it's important, and you need to go out there and do it.
And I will be honest, the last 2 elections, I voted third party. They have aligned more with my values and ideas than either of the 2 primary candidates. I don't have that option this year because they don't align as well. But
yeah, she doesn't. I don't agree. Everything she does.
But I will say this: I can only imagine if we come to a day where a third-party candidate gets put into office, the Senate, House will have no idea what to argue with. They can't blame it on the other side. You can't. Who you gonna blame it on?
And right now, you need 51% of the vote. Well, to in order to win the general election. Let's not get into the electoral college because it's confusing.
That's another fun thing.
But if you have a third party, go ahead. What's up?
I was saying, can I actually rein us back in and get? I want to say that we're gonna talk ourselves in circles here, but
we do that.
I want to ask you both, just in general, to get us back on AOC on Twitch. Do you think that this is going to be a positive or negative thing for Twitch, for politics? Do you think people actually maybe start having discourse on Twitch politically? Because I tend to keep, like, anytime I'm on Twitch, I steer completely away from politics.
Yeah. I think it's a dangerous avenue to venture down, only because and I'm not saying this is what people think now, but any of those people who participated in AOC's stream is now flagged as a Democrat. And so, yeah, while it may have gotten you more views overall, you may lose people who don't want to watch you because of your political view. And whether or not you talk about that online, in your stream or not, that's what they're going to flag you as. You're now flagged as one way or the other. So I think it has its benefits as far as getting numbers up and getting more, people can see you more often. But I don't like it. I don't like bringing discourse and hatred into a generally positive place full of people who enjoy one another and enjoy playing games together.
It's hard to give a yes or no to that because there's so many variables. Like, watching the stream, I generally think that she was fun. I mean, she was fun to watch. She was entertaining. She seems friendly and nice and bubbly, like she was having a good time. But as you said, if the way that the chat was going in the channel, if that would spill into other aspects. Now, here's my doomsday scenario. Here's worst case for me. I don't know if you've watched TV lately.
I try not to, man.
It is
awful.
The only commercials that play are political commercials.
Yeah, did it all through football Sunday. It was all Biden commercials. It
is horrid just to watch them because it's literally, you have a commercial of this political person talking about how bad the person is. The very next person is that person telling you how bad the next one is. Mm-hmm. If we would take this leaps and steps and we have more people from the political spectrum jumping onto Twitch, guess what? Twitch doesn't care about you as the viewer, or they don't care about you as the streamer. What they care about is money. And campaigns get a lot of money for ad revenue.
Yep.
I would hate to have somebody come into my channel and say, hey, I just had to watch a 30-second or 1-minute ad for X before I could even watch you stream.
Yeah, and if you're like
you don't have a choice
streamer, you don't get a choice what those ads are. Oh. So even if you lean right and that happens to be a Biden thing, like you can't do anything about it. And I get that you can't do anything about G Fuel's commercial, but that's not nearly as a big of a deal as a political stance.
Yeah, nobody has a political stance on G Fuel.
Except for people who think it's gross.
Yeah, want this G fuel and go fight a bear.
That's cocaine. That's the wrong G Fuel.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm sorry, I've never had it. G Fuel, please sponsor me. So, I mean, that's just kind of my looking into it. Is I'd be, as you said, slippery slope, because once they realize that there is viewership there, I mean, you think about an average day on Twitch, how many people are watching just silly things right now. I mean, I have just the people that I follow. There's over 200,000 people watching all those people right now. It's Monday night. The football game's on. Monday Night Football is probably
2 more minutes.
Yeah. They are probably hoping to get viewership that is given out every day on Twitch. So once they know there's money there, that is easy for them to slip in. And as I said, Amazon or Twitch, because Amazon owns them, they don't care about you. All they care about is what you can generate for them, which is ad revenue and money. Because, I mean, you think about it, I'm not going to watch a commercial on my TV. I'm going to walk away or do something else. You don't really have a choice to watch commercials.
Well, you get ad blocker.
What about it goes through my ad blocker sometimes. I'm just kidding, Twitch. I don't use ad blocker.
Crash, why don't you close us off with your side? You've been really quiet, so I'd like to hear your point of view, and then yeah.
Okay, just throwing it out there based on the question that I had. I think that there may be some good to this, but generally it's like 10%. Maybe it will actually encourage some kids to vote. Maybe, but like for a meme, honestly, is what, like, as far as I can imagine. But at least they're still voting.
Right.
But the 90% of this, like both of you agree, is probably pretty bad. It's there's not Twitch is going to go in for this for money. You know, politically charged things are going to come out. But I think possibly for me the worst aspect that's going to arise from this is that, like, I don't really care for politics, even whether I vote or not. I just don't care for politics, and it could even encourage a lot of people that I would and still do watch on Twitch to possibly like bring in political opinions to try and like cause issues. But
get paid.
It would be like a slower climb like that. But I don't know. I think there could be like some like, you know, like politically charged YouTube channels could maybe like migrate to Twitch, and instead of like having to play games, they could maybe actually have like a decent discussion where like maybe some things get solved. You know, that could be one positive thing. But it's just the rest is a shitstorm. Like, I don't see anything great coming out of this. The event itself was more of a meme, more of a joke than anything else. It doesn't feel like it felt like genuine human interaction, but like you can just see from, like Shiny said, the chat, that there's no way people took this like in a super positive light, and I think that's the most disappointing thing. But that's all I got.
Would have been good.
Well, let us know what you all think. Leave us a comment underneath. Tell us how you feel about this subject, whether you think it's a good reason or if you agree or disagree with us. And if you're enjoying the podcast, if you're enjoying this show and the things we talk about, feel free to hit that like button. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. Like I said, leave some comments. Help us out.
And if we encourage you to vote, tag us on Twitter and say, hey, I voted.
Social media, baby.
I voted. We've got some good social medias, especially out of context NerdLore.
Yeah.
No!
That is such a bad one.
So, this has been Shiny Shoes.
This has been Crashstarling.
And it's your boy, Skandle, baby.
Signing off.